Is going to light you up. He comes from Miami, Florida, and he's going to talk about what Steve Nudelberg says in sales. So please welcome Steve Nudelberg.
Thank you, guys. Just some housekeeping before we get started. This is a pretty special place. I got here early today. Jerry took me around, and to know that this kind of content was being given for free, I thought was pretty amazing. And so congratulations for all of you for taking advantage of it. Number two, I want to thank my friends from Bank United who have been a client of mine for 3 years. I've worked with their sales teams in each one of their markets in the state of Florida, and I love you guys, so thank you. So they asked me to speak today about selling in the new millennium. So everything that you've heard today is very valuable and should be part of your toolbox as you're building your business. The one thing that they did not talk about is what happens when you get face-to-face with people. Everything was digital. The internet is so strong, yes, indeed. But you know what? At some point, you're going to be face-to-face with somebody that you need to influence them making a decision. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So two things. There are the rules of engagement. People seem to forget in this digital world that there is a way to act and a way to behave and a way to treat yourself in order to be successful. And then I'm going to talk about social media as it relates to selling. It was the previous presentation was great. It talked about how to build a brand in social media. I'm going to talk about how you build your own brand and how what you say and how you say it is all about you and how you present it. So this is a great quote, right? I love it because I think no matter what business you're in, no matter what you do in life, it's always about selling. So any of you who have kids, right, you know that they're selling you sometimes. So it's the number one business skill that is the hardest. Anybody in here have a degree in sales? Oh, really? How many people have been in their business for more than 5 years? How many more than 10? Okay, so you have a degree, by the way. Just for some reason, the selling profession is not recognized the same as other professions, but trust me, the same skill sets, the same professionalism needs to be exhibited in every single thing that you do. So I've come up with these, well, let me tell you a little bit about myself first. So I'm a career sales guy, just having some fun showing you how I started, bearded afro. I was fortunate enough to be in the cellular phone craze. We built a $70 million cell phone company that I had 100 salespeople, and I heard every excuse you could possibly hear from those salespeople, but had an awesome time, and then continued to be impressed with other salespeople and the science and the art of selling. It is truly an art. So by hanging around other salespeople and traveling around, I know that most salespeople are thinking about money, right? So it's really the game of sales is all about what's in your head. And you can choose whether you're going to be successful or not. It's that powerful. So thoughts become things. What you think about is exactly what's going to transpire. And most salespeople defeat themselves before they walk out the door. They're already talking to themselves worse than they'd allow anybody to talk to them. So I've come up with these rules of engagement, right, which are I've learned from everybody that I've been around. I take notes and I understand these things that they do on a regular basis. For those of you who are into sports, the Magic guys are here. They go out and they practice and they do something every single day and they get good at it. So it becomes instinctive how they behave. And it's the same thing with sales. So,
oh, have I got your attention now? Good. Because we're adding a little something to this month's sales contest. As you all know, first prize is a Cadillac Eldorado. Anybody want to see second prize? Second prize is a set of steak knives. Third prize is you're fired.
Anybody ever see that movie? Glengarry Glen Ross. So it's actually very accurate in terms of how most sales operations how they operate on a daily basis. But the first rule is to understand the game that no matter what, you are either selling or you're being sold. And so when you think about that, the next time you have an interaction with anybody, think about what role you're playing. right? And understand that it's an art. And those of you who have kids, listen to your kids as they come up to you. they're definitely selling you on something. Whatever you want. If you want to get in a restaurant and there's no reservation, you're selling or you're being sold. Something is happening there. Understanding that give and take is really significant. Rule number 2, and I love this one. Anybody play cards or anybody? So it's all the game of luck. Well, luck is for those that are unprepared. Okay, so in my office, if you say to me when I'm walking out the door to go to an appointment, hey man, good luck, right? They got to put $20 in the jar. Because that means I wasn't prepared enough. I'm waiting for it to happen by chance. And trust me, all of the things that people said today, all of those tools are things that you need to be prepared about. Football teams do not take the field without being prepared. They spend all week watching film and preparing, knowing their opponent. In sales, most people don't have any clue who they're going to talk to, what they're all about, and it's really a chess match. You need to be very educated. Rule number 3, classic scenario. I find this, the teams I work with all over the country. If you do not believe in your product, don't sell it. Find something else to do. Because you absolutely have to believe in what you do. It will come out. That lack of integrity. I've been selling the better part of my adult life. I've sold many different things, but at the end of the day, I've always sold myself. And I believe in myself, and I believe in the trust and everything that I'm transferring to people. So I believe that I'm going to do the right thing by somebody. And that doesn't always happen. And each of you, for sure, has a scenario when you've dealt with a salesperson that you did not trust. And you knew that they didn't believe in their product. Number 4, it is what it is. Salespeople, people in business constantly come up with excuses. It's Sunday, nobody's working. It's a holiday, it's Thanksgiving, no one's going to be around. It's raining out, so I'm not going to be busy, right? It is what you want it to be. It will always be that way. So if you want to make an excuse and say, wow, we're in a recession and the economy's bad, it's bad for you. You made it bad, right? And that's how the media treats it. They make you believe that it's bad. But always understand, no matter what you want to believe, it always is what it is. My favorite one of the day. If you take one thing away from being in business, networking is only one letter away from not working. So if you think that you can be successful in your business sitting in your underwear at your house, probably not going to happen. At some point, you're going to need to go deal with a bank. You're going to go need to deal with somebody who's making your product somehow, some way. It's always about who you know, always. So I have 2 boys, right from the get-go. I have them in social media connecting with people. They have huge huge relationships that they can call on at any time in any state, always thinking about networking. So I could talk for 3 hours on how to work a room like this. Most people have no idea. You've seen that guy that goes and he can't even pay attention to you. He saw it to you. Here's my card. Here's my car. Oh, there's somebody else. So obviously that's not the way to work a room. Building real, strong, quality relationships every single day is the best way to be successful in sales. Rule number 6, and you're proving it out by being here. Warren Buffett said this: the more you learn, the more you earn. It's that simple. I'm a student. I read religiously about success stories and failures. I've learned from some of the greatest failures ever. They've taught me things about myself. They've taught me things I've learned from other people. So if you decide to learn, and you did today, you came for free, when you invest in yourself, really, really, really good things happen. Number 7. So this is an interesting one. When you leave here tonight, I want you, the first red light that you get to, I want you to pull up to the light, I want you to look to the right, and I want you to look to the left and tell me if any of those people are smiling. Nobody smiles anymore. It's unbelievable wherever you go. And it is the number one habit that if you get good at it, right? I have all of my salespeople, when they're on the phone, they look into a mirror. Because otherwise they're like laying there, they're multitasking, doing all kinds of stuff. I go, you would never do that in front of anybody. Why would you do it? And it comes through. So if you learn how to smile, and just think about this. If we were having a knockdown, drag-out fight, and then I just stood there and smiled at you, look at what you did. What did you do? You smiled back, right? It's the easiest way to build relationships. but nobody does it. So we're going to talk a little bit more about habits. So I want you all to close your eyes for a second, and I want you to go back in time to the first day that you went to work in whatever field that you're in now. That first day, and really own that feeling. And then I want you to open your eyes and say, well, what did I do that day? You probably would have jumped in the water. You would have done anything to be successful. You just thought the future was bright, but now fast forward 2 years later, and you're all jaded and you have stuff that's going on. You're not acting like it's your first day. You see new people that come on board, and they have all kinds of energy and all kinds of excitement about what they do. The professionals get that excitement every day. And that's a whole nother module that I've worked with Bank United on, is how to be a 10 every single day. Because the reality is you need to be a 10, right? All the people in your business deserve it. All of the people in your life, your parents, your kids, everybody. So it's all about having that first day excitement. Rule number 9. So does anybody know how many seconds there are in a day? So I'm glad you said that. So this is a really great statistic. There's 86,400 seconds in every single day. Nobody's getting any more, and nobody's getting any less. Period. We all have the same thing. So the next time you or anybody in your immediate area say, I don't have time, well, they've made a choice to do something else that they think is more important. Period. It's that simple. There's no such thing. We all have the same time. So you got to figure out every single minute of the day is what you're doing at that particular moment, the most important thing you could be doing. And in any business, if it's not producing revenue, find someone else to do it. So it's all about time. So this is my favorite habit. So everybody works from 8 to 5. Would you agree with that? Just about? It's a pretty standard thing. Well, some people work more, but, right? So watch this. Winners work from 5 to 8. So think about that. So if you think about what time you get up in the morning, think about it. Anybody? What time do you get up? Yeah. You get up at 5, okay? 6 o'clock. Anybody earlier than 5? 6? 4:45? My friends at Bank United, what time do I get up? I get up at 3 o'clock every day. I have more time in my day than most other people, and that was a choice. I want to be successful. I do more before 6 o'clock than most people do all day. Right? That's how I built my business. Those are the habits I've gotten into, and this is steadfast. If you get up 1 hour earlier every day, just think about that. It's going to add 30 hours a month, right? 30 hours a month you're going to add. Right? It's almost a full week that you're going to add. And think about, what would you do with that 30 hours? What would you do? I get great answers when I do this with people. It's great. What would you do if I gave you 30 hours more? Okay, so you'd learn, right? Anybody else? Say again? You do office work? Okay. Some people I hear, they go, I'm going to run. I love this one. They go, I'm going to spend more time with my kids. And I go, why are you even going to work? The number one thing you should be worried about is spending time with your kids. So what's the point? Like, you got to rearrange your priorities in time. So, and the easiest way to do that is an hour a day. I'm fortunate enough to work out in a gym with this gentleman. Right, I've watched his career when he played at the University of Miami to right up to now being, as big a star as you get. And this was his quote one day. We were just sitting there talking, towels around us, sweating. And what I got out of it was, I'm not the smartest guy ever, and I won't ever be, but nobody's ever going to outwork me, ever. Right? And so you got to think about, you own your own business, big or small, right? Are you the hardest worker? Are you complaining about being the hardest worker? I love it. I embrace it. In my organization, I'm the hardest worker. I told you, there is nobody here that's going to outwork me ever, right? I took that same skill set and I installed it in my son. My son is a college football coach. Last year he coached with the Gators. He's now he's at Nevada Reno. He's 29 years old. He's got incredible work ethic. The one thing that people say around is, man, you grind. I just got done doing some work with Damon John. He grinds. He's emailing me at 3:30 in the morning. People who are successful and really want it, they work hard. There's no substitute to the work. And then the last rule, and some people talked about it. Patty was great. I thought she was really awesome because it is all about, your body language. People are just standing there like, oh, it's the end of the day. I can't believe I got to do this. Or, it's all about what you give out. So how you look, what you wear, all of those things go into your personal brand. Does anybody know what a personal brand is? So if I said fast food hamburgers to you, what would you say? McDonald's, right? If I said overnight delivery, what would you say? FedEx. So they've spent millions and billions of dollars educating you on what that brand stands for. What does your brand stand for, right? If you know me for less than 5 minutes, you already have an impression, as Patty said, of what my brand is. So if I told you my brand was shy, what would you think? Doubtful, right? So figure out what your brand stands for. You can be anything you want to be as long as it's genuine. And the one piece of advice, and I'll talk a little bit further about it in social media, is you can't be something you're not. Not as a business and not as a human being. You have to be genuine. That's what people tend to buy. Now, I'm going to give you the 6 most expensive words in business. We've always done it that way. So there's another jar in our office that if someone says, oh, come on, we've been doing it that way forever, $20 in the jar. We give all the money to charity, right? But the reality is that comes out a lot. People get baked into their habits, into what they've done for a while, and they don't innovate, right? So one of the things we talk about with Bank United, they can change the way banking is done. They're my banker. I haven't been in a bank in 4 years. Banking doesn't make me money. It's part of how I do my, a necessary evil on how to transact business. They've taken all of that away from me. They have made it absolutely painless for me to handle those transactions. So they're innovating. My previous bank didn't do that. They could have. So you can set the rules in whatever business you're in. Who would have thought that every city I go into, I can just tap a button and there's a driver waiting for me? Uber's the most unbelievable thing ever. And it cost me like $4, man. It's incredible. So these things, the Google guys are all about innovation. Somebody's breaking the paradigm, So this thought process is really damaging just to get caught up in how it's always been done. So I don't know how much time I have. I'm pretty good, I guess. I'll zip through the social piece. So the social piece as it relates to selling, just get a look at this slide and understand the amount of activity that happens every single minute, right, online. It's incredible. So, you heard from the Google guys, you heard from, all the other guys. There's a lot happening on the internet. What piece of real estate are you going to get for yourself? Not for your company, but for yourself. Because we just talked about personal brands. And so when we were talking about before that you never post for your business as you, she's right. But you post for yourself about you. So for me, I have a team of people that do my company on the ball. They manage all the social media. I am not the voice for my company. I'm my own voice. And so I have managed to build my own brand. And all I do is take all the stuff that On the Ball does and I share it. So now it looks, wow, man, look at all the stuff. Look at all the content. Look at all the stuff that's happening at my company. So the number one question when it comes to all of this is, well, can it really help me sell anything? People who are involved in social media for brand purposes are having a real difficult time with ROI. Spending money, I hired a team of people to do it. Where's my return on that investment? How am I getting money back? Well, as an individual salesperson, it has made being a sales guy so easy, right? And I'm going to show you how. So there's this thing called social selling. Anybody ever hear that term? Okay, so what would you think that would be? Anybody? What would you think social selling would be? Close, okay. Creating relationships, sure. It's using all of the social media channels, right, in an effort to try and sell your product or service. Could be, but here's the greatest part about it. Social selling is actually not about selling at all. It has absolutely nothing to do with selling, which is why the old school sales mentality is having a real hard time with this. Because there are guys jumping on board going, hey man, I got a better rate than you, and I can do this, and I can do. That's not what people buy. At the end of the day, right? If you don't like me, the chances of you doing business with me are what? None. Zero. Think about it the last time you bought from somebody that you didn't like. So all social media gives you is an opportunity to talk about the things you like so that you can align with the other people that like all the same stuff. So it doesn't matter what it is you like, but if you like dogs or you like cats or you like food or you like guns, it doesn't matter. If you were able to do business with all the other people who like guns, going to be pretty good, high shot of you doing well, right? So social media gives you the opportunity to own what you love and just connect with people who do the same thing. So in the old days, salespeople would go into an office and they take a quick look around the guy's office and they go, wow, he went to this school, or he's a fisherman, I see something on the wall, whatever, look at pictures. You don't have to do that anymore. It's all there for you. It is so easy to understand all of the things talked about in the beginning of the presentation. You have to understand who you're trying to sell to. This is a transparent world. Everything is right there for you to find out. You can know everything there is to know about your customers. So for me, I'm pitching all day long and posting all day long about the University of Florida. Number one, I went there. Number two, my son's a coach there, right? What are the chances of me doing business with other University of Florida people? Pretty good. So not so good with Florida State, though. So I'll tell you quickly what social selling is. Social selling is customer service. Social selling is public relations, all built into one. It's loyalty building. It's collaboration. People are talking about the problems they have in their businesses. And if you listen, you'll be able to be the one who solves their problem. So what a great way to be in business is if you have a solution for somebody's problem and you already know that they're telling you about the problem, there's no category that this is not happening in. So it is universal that all of this stuff is happening. And obviously, you've all been to a Chamber of Commerce meeting or something like that. Those are an hour or two, and you got to drive to them, and it's hard to really. Networking happens 24 hours a day. I do more networking and connecting with people at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm done. All done. I don't have to worry about it the rest of the day. So this social selling phenomenon, I'm going to give you my rules. You know, there were great rules. Everything you heard today is really, really good. You know, and I speak all over the country. Today was really a great lineup of information. But these are my rules. You got to listen. Really, really good people in business, listen, because somebody's going to give you all the clues if you pay attention. We talked about it before. You got to put content. You got to be able to share stuff about you. I share stuff about, I was all over social media today saying I was here. I've already gotten 3 inquiries from other events who said, you know what, I heard about you before. I'd really like to talk to you about speaking at my event. I didn't do anything. All I did was post on there that I'm here, and I'm proud to be here. It's about relationships. This is a doozy. Think before you post. If you're going to go out to happy hour, no social media. Because anybody who tells you that it's going to go away and they can erase it, they're lying. It's there forever. And I have seen some stuff that is mind-blowing. Like, really? You thought of that? So, my time is getting a little fuzzy, so I'm going to kind of flip through some of this stuff and get to the number one idea. And this was an idea that I installed maybe 3 years ago with Bank United, right? And don't get scared off by the fact that they're a big bank. I deal with 15 people in each of the branches. So this works across every single business. As a matter of fact, when I presented the idea 3 years ago, I was so nervous presenting it because it seemed so simple to me that if I presented it, they would go, wow, we paid this guy to do this? So here's the trick. Okay, so there's a program called 50 Cups of Coffee. So please, nobody in this room tell me you don't drink coffee because it has nothing to do with coffee. Okay, what do you think it is? So we have every single person in that bank, up and down the state, has a rolling list, written list of 50 people that they want to have coffee with. Not 50 people that they want to sell to, 50 people that they are interested in having a dialogue with. So now I'm talking about, if you have kids, the coach, right? You have no idea what's going on with your coach. You don't know what business he's in. Hey, let's grab a cup of coffee. What happens when you have a cup of coffee? Do you bring brochures? Of course not. Why coffee and not lunch? Too long and too expensive. It doesn't make sense. I could sit at Starbucks and do more business in 3 hours than anybody's going to do in a week. Boom, 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 on every 45 minutes. And the people that I'm reaching out to have a cup of coffee with are senior people in the marketplace. I live in South Florida. Cancer treatment plans of America just moved into the area. Right? I reached out to the CEO through LinkedIn, and I said to him, through LinkedIn, hey, we don't know each other yet, but I really admire what your company is doing, and I would love to grab a cup of coffee. Right? He emailed back a week later, so it wasn't top of mind for him. But a week later, he said, I'll meet you at 7 o'clock at this Starbucks, which was 45 minutes from where I live. Right? Absolutely, yes. The best time. I learned so much from this guy, right, for nothing, for the price of a cup of coffee. So I didn't go there to sell him anything. What did I go there to sell him? Me. He now knows me, knows what I do. So as a business owner, you should be selling all the time. So speaking of time, I only had a short time today, so I hope you enjoyed. You can follow me on social media, at Nudelberg, just about across everything. I do send out a morning quote. It's called Steve's Quote. Today was a doozy on your behalf. It is a little piece of information that can frame up your day. So thank you for having me. It was really fun.